everyone, I'm Sarah, and today I'm going to be showing you some outfall monitoring here at Hyde Park. Oh shoot, my pencil! Oh, can we do this again? Is this a 6 or an 8? Who wrote this? Oh, it was me. I can't read my own writing. Oh shoot, field book. Oh god, oh, it's all wet. Can we start again? Isn't working. Let's just cancel the field day and we'll start again fresh.
Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you how to use ArcGIS Survey123. So this is a really useful tool if you're doing any fieldwork that requires a large amount of data collection, and basically you're able to collect the data in the field and upload immediately if you have access to cell towers and if you want to use data. However, if you don't, you can also store the information on your device, whatever device you choose, whether it's a cell phone or a tablet in the application, and then upload the information afterwards. So it's a really great tool, especially if you have a large survey team that's going out and collecting a lot of information. It just helps to kind of create a uniform data collection process, and afterwards working with the data is really easy. So if you have access to an ArcGIS online account through your institution, you'll have access to this ArcGIS Survey123. And so basically all you need to do is log in with your online credentials, your ArcGIS online credentials, and then you can come into Survey123 and launch the survey creator. And so basically it'll redirect you to either your personal surveys or your institution surveys. And if you want, you can create a new survey by clicking the new survey button. And so you'll see that there's a variety of options to create a survey. So you can either create a blank survey, you can create a template survey, or you can use a desktop application. My personal favorite is just starting off with a blank slate, but I'll show you this one here so you can take a look at kind of what it looks like. So there's lots of different templates that have already been created that might kind of fall in line with some of the things that you're doing. So for example, state and local governments, and you'll see some of the surveys templates that you're able to use. So we're going to go ahead and get started by creating a blank survey to work with. Okay, so once the page has loaded, you'll see here that basically it opens up a tab with lots of useful information. So you'll see that you have the untitled survey. So if you put the title of the survey here, this is helpful so you can navigate and find it again, and also for sharing the survey. And then you can set a description of the survey, so telling you kind of what the survey does. And then there's lots of different add-ins that you can do. You can also change the appearance of the survey if you're not happy with the color palette or whatever. If you want it to look a certain way, you can change the descriptions and the headers and things like that. So there's lots of different information that you can add. You can also change the response button at the end. But basically, you can add lots of different information to this survey. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add in a single choice option just to show you an example of what you can do. So basically, you would set a question here. You could have a hint. So for example, if the users haven't been kind of introduced to the survey or the survey is a little confusing, you can tell the users, kind of give instructions on how to fill it out. And then you can have a single choice option here. So this means that there would only be one choice for the user. There's lots of different other things that we can add too. You can have drop-down options. So for example, if you want to add drop-down choices, basically you can add lots of different choices and you can set your different choice options. There's also rankings that you can add, so you can rank the choices from 1 to whatever. You can include the date and time in the survey. I find this is really useful to have as the first thing. And the great part about adding the date and time is that Survey123 can just take the date and time and preset it. So that means that the user doesn't have to fill this out every single time. You can also have pictures added to the survey, which I think is really great. So you can basically, they can use their camera on their tablet or their cell phone and upload a photo. So this is really useful for QA/QC after the fact. What else do we have? An address and a location. You can put the address and type it in, but there's also a map that you can include as well, which is really great for geolocations and stuff afterwards, particularly if you want to use this information in maps as well too. So there's lots of different great things that you can add. Here's an example of the map, and basically what you would just have the user do is ArcGIS can zoom into their location within a decent kind of boundary, depending on how accurate the location is at that particular time, and then the user can kind of go in and correct the location if you need a really precise location. And then let's go back here. You can also have the user. So if you want to have a user ID, they can input their signature. They can also input an ID as well. So there's lots of different great things that you can add to really make a really comprehensive survey. I really like the multiple choice questions. I find this is really useful when filling out information. It also gives you a lot of flexibility when completing the survey, because you can allow users to select not just one choice, but multiple choices. So for example, if they're not really sure on a certain criteria, this is kind of helpful. But it really depends on what you're trying to achieve with the objectives of your survey. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and kind of fast forward through an example of how I would go and complete a survey that we're going to be working with a little later, just to demonstrate kind of the process, but not to bore you with the details. So now that the survey has been published, you'll see that the survey's been added under your My Surveys list. And I'm going to demonstrate a couple things that I think are useful in setting up the survey. So you'll see here that the link is available. You're able to share this link or the QR code with any of your field team. This is really helpful because it'll be easy for them to access the survey. So for example, if they're unable to find the survey just by searching the name, the link or the QR code are really helpful for that. There's also options for who can share and upload information into the survey. So I find it really helpful to allow everyone in the public to be able to submit the survey results. This kind of just prevents any issues from kind of blocking or locking users out. So for example, if users outside your organization are going to be uploading data to the survey, it's helpful to kind of add in these users by just kind of allowing everybody to upload, but it's really personal preference. I also like to kind of just take off all of the locks, so allowing everybody to add records and allow everybody to see all of the records, but it's really up to you in how you want to set up your survey. So for example, if you have more sensitive information, you're able just to prevent users from seeing other data as well. So this is an example of how you can modify this here in the sharing of the results. Additionally, you can have locks on who can update the survey, and you can also add groups. So for example, if you're working with more sensitive data, you can set up groups in order to prevent kind of outside users from accessing the information, and then also allowing your users to be able to upload and use this information. So yeah, this is where you would then come and access the information, but obviously we have no records yet. So when we check back in after we've completed the survey, you'll see some results here. And yeah, so this is where kind of all of the useful setup information is for you to modify your survey. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate how to use the ArcGIS Survey123 app. So you're going to need to make sure that you download this from your app store, and you're going to need to sign on with your institutional credentials. And once you do that, you'll have access to a bunch of surveys. So you're probably not going to see any surveys available in your app. So you're going to need to click on the Download Surveys button. So you'll see that the survey I've created is already available in the menu options, but sometimes users won't necessarily see new surveys created, or if your group's creating a lot of surveys, it might kind of navigate its way down to the bottom. So the best thing to do is to search the survey by name. You can also send the users the link, or you can send out the QR code, and these are really simple ways to pull out the survey. So I'm going to go ahead and download the survey. This is something that you're going to want to do before you head out into the field, and then you'll see that the survey has been added to my kind of inbox. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a quick test run just to make sure the survey is operating and functioning normally before we head out into the field. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of click through all of the questions and just kind of fill out the survey just to test it out. So right here, I am selecting a location, just making sure everything is working normally and that the base map is showing up as it's supposed to be. You can select all sorts of base maps, which I find kind of helpful, and you can modify them depending on what you're doing. So I'm just basically filling out a test file, and I'm going to label this test just to make sure that I know it was a fake kind of result. And so you can send the results now, or you can save the results in your outbox and send them later. And so this is an example, and we're going to go out in the field and test this out.
Hi everyone, so we're back at our outfall and we're going to use Survey123 to capture all of the information that we need. So I'm going to demonstrate how to use it. So basically you're going to open up the app in Survey123, and you might have to log on with your credentials once more. And basically you're going to click on the monitoring survey and we're going to collect our first data point. And so you can see that the date and time is already filled out. So I'm going to snap a photo of the outfall, and I'm going to stand a little bit further back just because I'm a bit up close. This is really great for QA/QC, like I was saying before. I'm going to just correct the location ever so slightly. So I'm going to zoom in to my location. The accuracy isn't great, around 16 meters. So we're just going to zoom in a bit more. And I'm going to make sure that it's bang on. Great, collect that location. Is flow present? Yes. The level of flow, I would say, is high. We know this is a storm sewer. The condition is excellent. The shape of the outfall is a horseshoe shape, and the diameter of the outfall we'll need to measure, and then we'll add any notes. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the diameter of the outfall. Set. And add any notes. And then we're going to save it, and I'm going to upload the results of the survey now. And so now it's been uploaded to the server, and I'm going to call our field service staff, and I'm going to see if the data's there. So just give me a second and I'll call them. Hi Sarah, yeah, can you check to see if the data's uploaded? Okay, great. Let me know if there's any issues. Okay, bye.
So now that we're back from the field, we're going to launch the Survey123 desktop website, and you'll see that your survey is available here. And so I'm going to click on the Analyze button, which is basically kind of the bar chart diagram, and you'll see that the kind of analysis is populated with our data. So this data set is obviously only comprised of 2 data points, our test point and our field point. But this is really useful for you're working with large amounts of information. It produces some really great summary graphics and some preliminary summary statistics, which I find can be particularly useful kind of at the beginning of the collection process. If you navigate to the Data tab, you'll see that it populates the data geographically on a map, and you can also see that the attribute table at the bottom has been populated with our results, which is really useful. And if you want to continue working with this, you can also open this in Map Viewer, where you'll see that we now have the data available in the ArcGIS Online platform. So if you're working with ArcGIS Online, you can save the data here and work with the data here. But if you want, you can also export the data as a shapefile, and you can also share the data, which is really great. So I find this tool really useful. It kind of takes away some of the transcription work that goes into paper-based data collection, and it also adds a spatial component, which I find can be particularly useful. So I really like this tool, and I hope that you enjoyed this kind of intro tutorial, and I hope that you find use for this. So thanks very much for tuning in, and I appreciate your time. Have a great day.